Update on the Spin2Win build. If you can see, I've been pushing levels a little bit. I'm starting to get into champion, and I've learned a few things, and whew, it's a bit different. All right, so let's take a look at the stats. As you can see, I put mostly everything into ferocity for now. So my crit chance is up to 46%. Crit damage 472. It's about the same. A little bit's changed. I've gotten some extra health regen. If you look at my health is actually a lot higher than with toughness. You'll see from the gear changes that I've done. So that's the stats. Health regen's high. My resistances actually went down. That's because I changed my chest from a heavy chest over to a bruiser. So I gained a ton of health regen and health in this case, but I lost a bunch of all resistances. So it should be enough to keep you alive for now. I'm testing some things. So let's go over to items. I actually crafted this axe. It was pretty weak before, and I transferred it all over to physical, which in this case is actually pretty good based on how I've updated the build a little bit. Um, the rest of the items are all pretty much the same, except a few pieces. I've noticed that health, it basically anything on your item is considered baseline. So let me see if I can go grab a heavy chest and you'll see. I think I might. There's my old heavy chest. So if we look at the stats, so it says 1800 health. If I take it off, I lose almost 9,000 health. Huge amount of health. And look at the health regen. Lost a lot of health regen. And then we'll see when I put on the heavy chest, my resistances go up almost in some cases like close to 1500, 1000, that sort of thing. So everything is baseline before the actual mathematics go into it. So in this case, I was getting one shot by some things as I moved through the levels. I'm like, okay, hold on, I really need some HP in this case. So I threw on the bruiser chest, gained a bunch of HP. I'm thinking later on down the line. Well, we'll get into that. So basically, the items, essentially everything on the items is base. And I've noticed that's a big thing with the items in Wolfson is you want a lot of base because all those passives, all the percentage bonuses, I believe the word is additive. So the bigger the base, the bigger the final result's going to be. So in this case, whether it's health or all resistances, the heavy chest piece going from 200 to actually giving you close to 1500 all resist, it's pretty huge. So if you can, so if you look at my rings, I changed them all over to maximum health. This ring gives me close to like 3000. The chest actually gives me about 9000 health. My other ring gives me close to 3000. So if you ever need health, in this case, you can kind of drop. I'm almost thinking the dev needs to buff toughness in a way, because right now it doesn't really do anything. You're pretty much better off just getting health on your items and stacking either ferocity or if you want a high attack speed, agility, or wisdom for your ailments. So I think most people are just going to end up going ferocity for crit, whether it's a spellcaster or melee or ranged or what have you. So that's it for the gear. Let's check out the passives. Now the passives, there's some pretty big changes in the passives. Not too much, but there's some important ones. So it's basically the same from before. I know that sounds contradictory. So everything down here is essentially the same. What I'll probably lean towards is eventually I want to go down this warmonger tree, God amongst men. I started to notice that health regen, or not health regen, health is going to be big. And I believe down the line, either block or sacred so it can proc weakness is probably going to be very important when the mobs start doing like 50,000 hits. You're going to need a way to drop that in some way, whether it's you're blocking a percentage of it or they're just 50% weaker. So in that regard, I started actually going up the Praetorian tree towards some of these health nodes, going up towards, in this case, since I'm a two-handed weapon damage, things like that, there's some extra health. And what I will probably be doing in the future with the extra, I think, 29 points I'm going to get is I'm actually going to try this blocking maneuver. So in this case, Praetorian tree, 6% chance added to block. Any weapon can block. So essentially, I'm going to be blocking with a two-hander. And what that allows you to do is based on your block chance and your block efficiency. Block chance, you have a chance to block. Efficiency means that's how much percent damage is negated from that block. Okay. So if I get the couple block talents here, just belligerent banner by itself with this additional button, I believe it's 50% block every time it's up. So if we get some of these other block talents, like Kingless Aegis, 3% block, unorthodox technique, block efficiency, block chance, block efficiency, 25% all resist whenever you block, come up here towards the arms macer. We're not actually going to get these, but they have block chance in here, extra 10% block. When they block, you do 100% of your weapon damage back. Damage dealt reflected back is rend. So if you combine that with things like Gods Amongst Men, it's going to be some nice passive damage in there. So any kind of this block chance and block efficiency, where's it right there? I've calculated it up. With all those little talents and passives, you can get 95% block chance with a 96% efficiency. So, barring the 50% from Fortress, you're essentially going to have a passive 45% chance to block and then a passive 96% block efficiency. So 45% of the time, you're going to be blocking almost 100% damage. That sounds pretty strong. And then whenever Fortress is fully stacked, you have essentially 100% chance, in this case, 95% chance to block 96% of the damage. I'm assuming that's probably going to get nerfed in the future. But for now, since I'm starting to notice that you need some way to reduce the damage taken. You can't just stack health. I'm at close to 30,000 health, and I've been doing well so far. I'm level 61. I just did an expedition for 67 or 69. So let me go to it. Just did 67. I'm starting to go into champion. I'm doing pretty well. So I think later on down the line, and then when you're getting to the 80s and the 90s, you're starting to do really, really high level stuff. You're going to need either sacred damage to proc weakness, or you're going to need some sort of block, or in this case, both. Because Sacred Oath will apply weaknesses on your blocks. So passively, 45% chance to block, 96% efficiency, blocking everything, weakening everything. You're still doing your damage. In this case, you wouldn't be going all through ailments and toxic. I'm debating on Blood Reaper. I think if I wasn't using Bleeding Edge, I would probably go Blood Reaper. But in this case, I'll end up skipping it. Just going with the Gods Amongst Men, getting the material damage, going for the blocks, going for the extra health. I actually went into the extra point here. If there's anything left over, I might get the extra stamina point over here and escape artist. Uh, well, we'll have to see. But my skills have changed a little bit as well. I opened up the last point so I can get the 10 out of 10 points. So let's look at the spear jump. Actually, I have 2 points I can use on something. So I'll probably throw it into like a stun or what have you. But I've changed things up a little bit. Flight speed, grants buff, cool. No cooldown, cool. Stun, cool. What I'll probably be doing is, let's see. Ooh. I might just go with damage to throw it in there. So that's roughly the same. Sovereign Shout changed a little bit. I actually reduced. Where was it? I think increases the effectiveness of all the buffs. I noticed the buffs didn't really. I mean, they helped. So if you look at the extra point, there's 5% extra in there. I'm just taking away that 5%, and then I'll use this extra point in something else. I haven't decided exactly whether I want to do crit chance score or global life leech or what have you. Or in this case, I could get another 12% chance to block. So that would guarantee a 100% chance. That's an option too. You can either do this 12% chance to block just to make it a flat 100%, 20% critical chance. I haven't decided, so I'm just holding it. But yep. So now the shout will also stun. So I jump in case somebody didn't get stunned for whatever reason. Shout, guarantee a stun, and then the rest of the buffs are still there. Bleeding Edge, in a way, I'm trying to test this right now because if you notice, it says base physical damage converts into rend. I'm wondering if that's before or after the calculations. So for my gear, I went all physical for it. I was able to craft the weapon, and it, for whatever reason, I think, was it copper stones in there to make it physical damage, and then I used the orb, transmuted it, and then it gave me all physical with some life leash. Perfect. So I'm trying that right now. That's partially why I don't want to use Blood Reaper, because if that lowers bleeding ed damage, then that's gonna be hurting for a boss killer. Still projectile speed, area effect continues. I was able to get the extra point in there and increase the damage 60% for weapon damage, which is really strong. It's really nice. And then Bladestorm. Bladestorm is pretty much the same. I'll probably be dropping Chaining Wrath. It doesn't seem to, even with 50% crit, or almost 50% crit, it doesn't proc that often. So you'll just probably do normal stuff like increase weapon damage, things like that. If there's any utility I might want, then I'll probably get that too. Other than that, I'm fiddling with it, but it's good for now. So down the line, with this build, I'll probably be getting the block. So 100% block chance, 100% block efficiency. Hopefully, I'll be taking no damage. Any kind of health you need, you should probably just go for it on your gear. And then for your passives, go crit, go ailments, whatever. If you're going to bleed build and you do want the Blood Reaper to get some bleed damage, sure, go that way. Go with wisdom, so on and so forth. Let's try it a little bit. I haven't done a champion. Let's try a champion. This stuff's level 70. In this case, the Whirlwind still does pretty good. There's a little bit of downgrade in some of the mobs. Some of the mobs are a lot stronger. Like obviously the big dudes are a bit stronger. There's also certain areas that the mobs are a lot stronger. They're kind of like crystalline guys that when you kill them, they drop into their armor with still some little health left over, and if you don't kill them, they get back up. Those guys are pretty tanky, so that's usually when I'll have to whip out my axes a little bit. Other than that, so right now I'm kind of going for enough health that it can regen and I don't die in one hit. I've noticed mobs were doing that back when I switched everything over to ferocity at first, and I only had like 12,000 health. I was like, whoa. I finally figured out that you can click the little button on the side to increase the levels. And, I was starting to work through the levels 60, 61, 62, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's some damage going around. So health is definitely important. Um, Resistances are definitely important. In this case, with my build, I'm almost thinking that health and block will probably be enough. I might not even need resistance. I don't know. Um, so we'll wait to see with that. But get a smidge of audio. So it plays pretty much the same. As you can see, I dropped the blood for blood. To me, it wasn't worth it. It was just a hassle. Just casting. Every boss fight. Trying to worry about it. Like, nah. Got a little extra health. Might have to drop an axe or two. These little side areas are actually really good. Especially if you're looking for... If you have the hunt down enemies options. Because all those enemies in there count towards it. So you don't have to try and search in the outer map. Be like, okay, there's a pack of dudes off on the far left. It's like, just do these little side missions. Anything you kill in there will count too. So yeah, as you get higher and higher, you definitely want to focus your gear a little more. So for this build, the damage, you can still do pretty much whatever damage you want. In my case, I'm focusing on physical. If you don't go with the material damage increase, it could probably still work for any damage type. Whether you do physical sacred, physical toxic, physical whatever, fire, toxic, it should still work for those. But in my case, I want to focus more on physical, possibly rend, but physical for now. Second side camp. As you can see, my weapon is a level 49. I'm 61. I'm hoping I can find a new weapon here pretty soon. Which would be nice. I actually have a garrison mission going. And it's not a garrison, but yeah, it's a garrison. Got a garrison mission right now going for two-handed weapons. So. Cool. Good thing is my damage has gone up a little bit. It's good. My health has gone up a ton, which is also good in this case. I didn't really have to sacrifice much ferocity for it. I could actually redo it now and min-max it a little bit better and put more points into ferocity. Because I didn't have that chest piece before. The chest piece I had before and the rings didn't have any health, and I put on some health and health chest piece and rings and just gained almost 15,000 health, which seems to be enough for now. So, as you can see, a couple times I went below, I think, 77%, but not too bad. I'm still regenerating a lot of health and a lot of leech, which is fine. Actually, let's go kill the boss. Over there. I hate it when they run around. There we go. Sometimes you might actually have to chase bosses. The one bad thing about the shout is that it doesn't give you your full stamina back. I don't know if that's a bug or whatnot, but it only gives you a couple. And these are the tanky crystal guys. So it's the build still clears pretty well. I mean, I'm what 7 levels over my current level, which is pretty neat. So at this point, what I need is some gear. That'll help. Just to do extra damage. My damage is a little bit lower than it should be. Oh yeah. Might as well see what kind of uniques we got. Hopefully it's something usable. There was a unique the other day. Oh man. It had a 300% increase on health. The only problem is that it didn't have any health on the item. Woo. That's it's pretty good. Pretty good damage. Yeah. Did I got enough gold? Maybe I can sell something. She take items? Ooh. Alright, hold on. Let me read this guy. Maybe I have enough to sell to her. Sell that. I should probably put a gem in that. Or, ooh, I'll save that. 43,000. I need 44,000. Man, look at that. 868. That's probably close to. Because if these are about 3,000, that's probably almost 4,500, 5,000 health right there. But I don't need health. I need whatever this gun is. I'll take the gun. Awesome. Cool. 2 epics. Or uniques, whatever. Same thing. Alright, let's go see what we can see. So for my passives, there's still a couple nodes I can get to increase my damage. You know, the extra material damage, there's actually a little bit of damage for blocking. There's some damage going down the, what's it called, pugilist, something like that, tree. Some two-handed weapon damage there, two-handed percent damage that I can use as well. Plus, a lot of my points are going to be in tankiness as well. So there's still some room for improvement in this build. You know, it'll get better. Obviously, I could use a better weapon right now. Damage is a little low, or rather, these mobs are a little high. Maybe a little bit of both. Porque no los dos. But let's see if we can find the boss real quick. I'm trying. I hate it when the mobs are all spread out. There we go. Time for a boss. Alright, teleport away. Oh, I got one shot by something. Ah, boy. Maybe I don't have enough health. Or resistance. Oh, here we go. Oh, these mobs are actually level 72. Nice. game's still a little bit buggy. No, not Wilson. The good thing is, with this build, the more people that are around me, the more damage I do. And also, the less people that are around me, the more damage I do. So, hey. I kind of prefer the more people, because then you spend for longer. It is what it is. If you want to, which I might actually try against this boss, if you jump in, drop your axes real quick, and if the boss is stationary, you can switch into your apocalyptic form. That way, you have no chance of dying, and they're probably gonna die. That's one way to cheese it. Which, until they get blocked, I might do. So, if I'm assuming that you can't block AoEs or dots, so you might not be able to block that.
On to the next one.
Blue? Like magical? Oh, what? I got excited. Sorry, I had a little bit of a Titan Quest action going on there. A little flashback. I haven't seen a blue in quite some time. At least that color. It looked a little different, so I was like, huh. Maybe that's a rarity I don't know about. It'd be really nice if they fixed the issue with the queuing system. Like when I jump in, I push, 2 or 3 times for the axe and I jump out. It's still queuing the axe. Oh, you've done it 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like, no, I pushed it twice. Do a little spin with the axe. There we go. Finish him off. Oh, what? Where'd this go? There we go. All right. Let's see what we got.
I must have dozed off.
All right. And everybody died. Okay, so yeah, that's the updated build. Full ferocity, great. as long as you're getting some sort of HP or all resistances or something of that nature, block, or if you're doing sacred procs, let's see, where is it down here? Weakness lowers their damage done, and they take increased damage. Something defensive, because as you can see, the bosses and the mobs will do more and more damage, and you have to have some way to mitigate it. Whether it's through that or passives. So regarding this build, I'll probably head towards the block. I'll test that out as I get higher in level. 100% block, 96% efficiency. Sounds great to me. So, cool. Thanks, guys.